Hey squad, welcome back. I'm Deuce. Today I'm going to highlight one of Logic's secret weapons, which is the groove track. And I'm going to demonstrate how you can combine the power of the groove track with the awesome follow rhythm feature to transform the groove and feel of your tracks. With that said, let's dive in. Okay, so to demonstrate these fantastic features, I've put together 8 bars of music featuring predominantly the Logic session players, along with a couple of additional tracks coming courtesy of Output Arcade. Now the whole production is driven by the Logic CHORD track. Now if you haven't seen my video on the CHORD track, it really is important that you do so, because if you're not using the CHORD track properly, you're not going to be able to take full advantage of the Logic session players. First session player is of course the Logic session drummer, then the session bass player, and then the session keyboard player. And like I said, I've got these 2 arcade instruments playing as well. Now up here in the chord track, all we've got going on is 8 bars of D minor, and I've gone for the natural minor Aeolian scale. So let's have a quick listen to the basic groove, and then I'll show you how you can implement the changes. Now before we move on, let me give a big shout out to all of you guys who are supporting me on Patreon. And as always, you can download this Logic project with all of the components I've used here, so you can experiment and explore to your heart's content. Head over to patreon.com/MTTC and grab the project from there. Alright, let's move on. So what we want to do is influence the groove and the rhythm of this piece. So at the heart of our rhythm section, of course, is the drums. Let's have a listen to a couple of bars of the drums. Now have a look up here and you'll see I've got this drum loop which is currently muted. Let me solo this and have a listen to this. The plan is I want our Logic session drummer to be influenced by this drum loop sample. To do so, it's real simple. All we've got to do is enable our groove track. Now I've covered the groove track in the past. Check out this video right here if you want to see more on the groove track. But for now, this is how we go about it. Right click or control click on a track like so, and then come down to track header components. And down here, you'll see groove track. Make sure this is enabled like so. Now that groove track is enabled, if we hover over this number just over here, number 1, for example, I'm going to click this star just here. We've now indicated to Logic that anything that sits on this track here, number 1, is going to provide the source, rhythm, or groove for the rest of the instruments. Now, before I tell Logic to adjust the groove of this drum part here to match the groove of this one right here, have a quick listen to them both playing at the same time, and you'll hear the inconsistencies between the two. Now, if you notice over here, there are these checkboxes. I'm going to come to the Neo Soul kit and I'm going to click on this box. And when I do so, just have a look and see the shift in the impulses just here. Do you see that? Switched off, now switched back on. And now have a listen to how these two are tying together. Switch it off again, have a listen. And back on again. Okay, really cool. Let's do the same for the bass. Let's have a listen to the bass as is. And now let's tie this one in. When I switch it on, look at the slight change to the impulses here. See that? Switched on. How cool is that? Now we don't actually have to have the drum loop playing through our mix. I'm actually going to mute this track right here and let's have a listen. you go. The groove track is still impacting the session drummer and the session bass player. Now the groove track feature is not only for Logic session players, it also works on loops and samples as well. So here's a muted guitar part that I'm going to play to you. Okay, and watch what happens to the impulses when I switch this on. You see that movement right there? On, off. So now, once again, this audio track is following the groove of our sample, which itself is muted. So let's have a listen to what we've got so far. Now for the session keyboard player. We could, of course, have this one match the groove track as well. If we did that, you'll see the slight changes in the impulses here. But what we're going to do is something slightly different. Let's open this up and we're going to come to the follow rhythm section. So we're going to tell this to follow the rhythm of the Neo Soul kit. You'll see the notes have been remapped. Let's switch that off so you can see that again. Off. Okay. And on. Neo Soul. Now let's have a listen. Okay, let's try this one here. Let's go for the drum loop. Let's see what it does then. Right, again, remapping. How about if we change that to the bass? See what that does. Or we could just have it switched off altogether. So as you can see, there's a great deal of flexibility that you can have by combining the Logic Groove track along with the follow rhythm feature for each of your tracks. Try different things out, experiment and see which one works best for your production. So I'll just play out on these 8 bars with the groove track impacting these 3 elements. Remember, you can download this project by going over to patreon.com. Then you can also try out some of the plugins I'm using to create this cool sound, like the CLA bass on the bass guitar and these awesome strings which are coming from Output Arcade. Links will be in the description for you to download them and try them all out. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment. It's always great hearing from you. So until next time, I'm Deuce, I'm out. Peace.